You're listening to the Batuta Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5. Welcome back to the Batuta Advocate radio show, recording live here from Budgie Smuggler Studios in downtown Batuta. It's been a very, very big week. Very big week in the news. We've had all kinds of shit going on. We had State of Origin. We've had what seems to be a false alarm outbreak in South Australia. Just a whole lot of shit's been happening, actually. Trump still hasn't conceded at the time of recording this. And, of course, there's been some stuff happening in Afghanistan over the last 2 decades, if you haven't read the reports. But we'll get into that. You're joined by myself, Clancy Overall, editor of the Batuta Advocate, as well as editor-at-large, Errol Parker. Hello, Errol.
Mahalo, Clancy. Very good day out here today.
Oh, isn't it nice? Day for it, I guess the kids would say. Would they, Wendell?
They absolutely would, Clancy. They're all saying it. We'll get into their story that got this week kick-started, and that was Melbourne slams reverse card down on the table, sending the spicy cough to Adelaide.
Yes, it was Adelaide's turn this week for the Boomer Remover to strike their city after months of sitting on their high horse and giving New South Wales and Victoria a bunch of shit. The people of our closest capital city are, at the time this is going to air, they are still in lockdown, but that's due to come out midnight Saturday, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I don't really know.
Well, care. Mate, you should keep up with the news.
You should keep up with the news or else you'll get sacked. Anyway, Dan Andrews slammed down that reverse card, made famous by the popular card game, that divides families. And now the City of Churches is dealing with, at the time of recording, there's 6 days in lockdown. But again, Wendell hasn't been reading the news. It could be peeled back.
We will have to wait and see. And now moving on to our next story, which really brought the week home, and that was Merrick Watts eliminated from SAS Australia after refusing to execute an Afghan farmer.
That's right. The fallout from the damning report on war crimes committed by Australian soldiers in Afghanistan has spread as far as the woefully performing reality TV show that is SAS Australia.
One contestant on the show, Merrick Watts, has now been kicked off the program designed to glamorise the Special Forces for refusing to execute an unarmed Afghan farmer. He said it just wouldn't sit well with him and he couldn't really bring himself to do it.
Sounds like he will never graduate to patrol commander. And we'll move along to some other militant news now. And Pete Evans has caused a bit of a stir this week by sharing his perfect midweek recipe for a fertiliser bomb to take down government.
Yes, the now Byron local shared his perfect midweek recipe for a crude fertiliser bomb, which he says is perfect for taking down governments and fighting the spread of 5G.
Apparently the main ingredient is nitrate, and it can't be the generic stuff. It's got to be the organic powder from a proper landscaping shop. But understandably, you might get a visit from the authorities, so that's something to keep in mind when mixing this up.
And a nice little Saturday Arvo one for you now. Bloke who won't give money to homeless because they'll buy drugs, about to do the exact same thing.
The French Quarter real estate agent, Jake Nottingham, told us that he thinks giving homeless people money just adds to the problem and gives them no incentive to work.
Yes, the man who doesn't really believe that mental illness, traumatic life events, or the high cost of housing are serious enough factors to render one homeless says, "You made bad choices, bro, and that's what happens, bro."
And that was on the way to procure himself a little bag of cocaine for the weekend. But he says that's more of a recreational activity. I mean, these real estate agents, they only think of themselves. I mean, think of all the blood, violence in Mexico, all the importing, exporting, all the human suffering that has gone into getting himself that little bit of powder.
And there was a comment on that story with a similar anti-real estate agent sentiment from Wendy Dorr, who said, "Homeless people make bad life choices," says man who apparently could have been anything and yet still chose to become a real estate agent.
Oh, from downtown.
And now we will finish up with a bit of sports news from this week. Fired up Queenslander asks Alexa to play that Raging Bull video.
Fucking oath. Queensland won. New South Wales lost. Nah, nah, nah. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, nah. Suck shit was the headline on the Batuta Advocate's print edition this week. The supposed worst team in 40 years of Origin got the job done and suck shit, New South Wales. But before that historic victory, we broke a story about a couple of Queenslanders getting worked up to fever pitch before the game.
Yes, they asked a little smart home device to put on that iconic video of Gordon Tallis ragdolling poor little Hodgson over the line before loading up a couple of all-time Origin biffs, rolling straight into that historic victory on Wednesday night.
The best way to get into any Origin match, my favourite, is the brawl at the MCG. But I reckon that will do us for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you again on Monday with what will hopefully be another big week of news.
Yippee yippee yahoo.
Yippee yippee yay yay yay! Yay yay!